So we're 14 months old. My brother ended up dropping out, so we kicked out / moved out at 17. We moved into a tiny Liberty Village condo with our golden retriever Riley. So we had not enough space. My brother was paying the rent, so he basically took the closet space. I was living on the couch, so I needed a place for my stuff. And I was looking at self-storage options. And so anyone that lives downtown knows that self-storage is absurdly expensive because you're paying for downtown real estate prices. And so I envisioned a service where people would pick up, store, and return your stuff. So that's sort of how the thing was born. I finished my undergrad at U of T in commerce, did audit internships, investment banking internships, and then I was hired into management consulting. We actually raised money on May 31st, which is the day I was supposed to start full time. Luckily, our managing partners were making bets that I wouldn't actually start full time, and if I did, how long I'd end up staying. So it was well received that I didn't actually end up joining the company, which is nice because I kept that bridge, and we started Second Closet. So today we're a team of just about 35 people. We've raised $2.5 million in seed funding. We're in Toronto, we're growing fast, and we're expanding out to Vancouver shortly. So it's been a crazy, crazy year, 14 months in. There's a few things I want to talk about, which is sort of how we've stayed focused. I'm excited to be here because we've been so heads down. We haven't been part of any incubator, accelerator, co-working space, whatever. We worked out of my third bedroom for a bit. Then we got a warehouse. We worked out of there. So we haven't really been plugged into the startup scene. So thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. So let's just kind of hop right in. So sort of the topic of what I want to talk about is how to focus on solving the right problems at the right time. Because there's a lot of things that startups experience in a growth phase, things that we can just call growing pains. And these things are temporary, right? Like not finding the right talent at the right time, saying yes to every piece of business, even when it's not really pushing your company forward, driving profits at all. You just want to take that business because it's a customer in the door, something to celebrate, and it adds to your top line, not necessarily your bottom line. And one thing that you sacrifice is work-life balance. So a lot of our team worked 20 hours a day for a long time, as anyone here that's founding a company will understand. We forgoed watching Netflix, going out with friends, having that social balance in exchange for growing the company faster. And so, it's important to understand pains that are temporary so that you don't dwell on them too much. You don't invest your time or resource into solving them to a huge extent, because these are things that you'll outgrow so long as you're focused on the right problems to solve, and you'll just kind of make those obsolete. Problems that aren't obsolete, or aren't temporary rather, are ones where you don't have product market fit, you're pricing yourself out of the market, and you don't really have a vision for the company. So these are things that are probably knocking you over the head, but you're not really realizing. So it's important to always kind of reset, take a step back, and stock where you are, and realize that you should probably adjust your course so that you can actually better capture the market that you're going after. Some of the ways that we've done it at Second Closet is we've focused on what we call a true north. It sort of cascades from this lean management style that TechTO really does a great job at kind of implementing. And so you have this vision of where you want to be and what you want to become. And so for us, it's the largest storage and warehousing company in the world, both for consumers and for enterprise clients. And so that really guides our decisions, and it kind of pushes us towards that. And so how you do that in practice is you reverse engineer it. So you start with 5 measurable goals per year, and you work it backwards to monthly, quarterly, weekly goals that you and your team can track. And so you do these weekly meetings called Kaizen newspaper meetings, where everyone from your team provides updates on where they are along and how they're pushing things along their pipeline. And you set due dates, you present how far you all are along from a scale of 0% to 100%. And it's really an opportunity to keep your whole team up to date of what you're doing, because all our team has autonomy and purpose in terms of what they're doing. We have that flexibility. And it's an opportunity to see, if sales is stalled, how can we push that along? If engineering's encountering a problem or doesn't really know how to think about a certain feature that we're looking to push out, it's an opportunity for our entire management team to contribute and be part of the discussion. So that's sort of how we've been really scientific about it to push things forward. And we've been able to see rapid growth as a result of it. And one thing that's unique is that we always just track our data on a weekly basis. So if we have an extremely positive week, we'll find ways to replicate it. If we have a really negative week, we'll see what we can do to curtail that sort of thing from happening in the future. And sort of how this boils down to actually working is if you're honest with yourself. So, if you're lying in bed on a Saturday, it's sort of that will just to get up and go to work. My brother and I and a lot of our senior management team work 7 days a week. because what we're doing actually matters to us and we want to see it through. And if we have a bad week, we don't try to sugarcoat it, try to kind of falsify the numbers or make ourselves look better than we are. We just sort of take it for what it is, and we're honest with ourselves and we're honest with our team. And that's really how it really works. Because if you're not honest with yourself, it's really difficult for you to lead a team properly and encourage them to be honest with you so that you can actually build a proper culture, a fast-growing team, and one that can encounter and tackle problems head on. So I sort of wanted to cap it off there. We're excited to sort of be here to provide some insight. Hopefully that sort of breaks it down into terms of how we've been growing so fast, the methods that we use on a weekly basis to help track our growth and our trajectory. So happy to answer any questions about that or anything else that may come to mind. Thank you.
Questions?
Hello, thank you for the presentation. I have a question. So you're growing very fast, you hiring a lot of people, and you work a lot. How do you care about the wellness and health of your employees?
Yeah, it's actually huge. Just yesterday, we had a massive company barbecue at our VP of Customer Experiences pool. So thanks, Aaron, for that. Appreciate it. And I think what we do is we just focus on our experience for customers, but we also view our employees as internal customers. Ultimately, our ops staff are our front-facing line. They're the ones that actually interface with our clients. And I mean, the way that David and I look at it, my brother, who's a co-founder, is that we did all the deliveries to start. So literally, David or I would show up at your door and we'd pick your stuff up, and Heinrich and our other co-founder would be developing the stuff in our third bedroom. And we did that for a bit. And the way we view our team is they're just allowing us they're affording us the opportunity to work on the business versus in it. And we always kind of view it through that lens because it keeps us grounded and it makes sure that we're giving back to our team who afford us the opportunity to actually grow bigger and better. And as that kind of snowballs, we can do bigger and better things for the team, rolling out benefits, making sure that we take care of them on a social level as well as a professional level, provide them a safe environment to work in, all that table stakes stuff, but really going above and beyond to make sure that they feel provided for.
Question over here.
Hi there. Quick question. It's a simple one.
Sure.
You obviously started with you and your brother, but someone I'm assuming would provide you some mentoring or advice or like a Shark Tank venture capitalist to provide you the funding and guided you with that. How did you find someone who had guided you in making the right business decisions and financing and taking you to where you are?
Yeah, it's a good question. If I look back on my journey so far, a lot of stuff hasn't really been deliberate. I haven't said, hey, I want to go find a mentor, I want to start a company, I want to go full time. It sort of just happened and I've just taken it in stride. So I met Michael Hyatt, who's a Toronto tech founder, sold his companies for collectively like 500 million. He's actually on Dragon's Den, but the online version. Not to discount the fact that he's a dragon or anything. So I met him at Mars, and I was able to capture his attention just because I was an undergrad student taking 2 MBA courses in something called the Creative Destruction Lab. And Michael's a G7 advisor in the CDL. And so I was just able to say, hey, Michael, I'm in the CDL, like, I want to chat with you. And then he asked me, like, what's your business all about? He loved it, told me not to talk to anyone else, and came back an hour later and sent me a coffee invite. And we've been working very closely together ever since. I think what you need to do is put yourself in circumstances where you'll just increase the chance of meeting someone that sees themselves in you, because that's when they'll start to selflessly give back to you. I think a lot of people that have been there, done that, they want to do that. They want to provide value to the ecosystem, and they're more inclined to do that if they see themselves in you, because they sort of wish they had that when they were starting out. So it sort of just happened by chance, and just it was sort of like an earnest relationship, and it's just been developing ever since.
Last question.
Great presentation. Just quick question. Since you start the company at such a young age, what was your core value that drives you for that long period of time when you have to hustle hard at the end or whatever, whenever it's a Saturday morning? So what was that drive? What was your core value at such a young age that keep you going?
So good question. It's hard to really condense that and just distill it into a simple answer. I think it's like the culmination of a bunch of things. Like fundamentally, it's just a fear of failing and not wanting to sort of, I mean, my brother and I are on our own. We don't have any sort of family to be a safety net, a home to move back into, a basement to live out of. It's just ourselves. And so that initially was sort of the driver for us to just kind of keep pressing on. It was our livelihood. And there were a lot of eyes on because we had other opportunities that we turned down. So that was sort of like the initial kind of push. Since then, it's sort of just been to continue to provide for our team and for our clients. I think once you reach a certain stage, it no longer just becomes about you, it's about what you're doing for your team and for your clients. And I think we've reached that point now where, you know, we're at a very stable state, we're growing fast, and we can kind of not worry about those things anymore and start focusing on solving problems for our clients and increasing sort of the quality of work that our team can do.